Hi everybody, so in this video I want to talk about directional hip markers and how to enable, disable them and to customize them as well. I'll put links in the description below this video to all the relevant resources I'm using, and just to get some pictures up of them, I was looking at Wobo's video where he shows you the hip markers actually in action. I'm trying to capture it. Basically, you get these blood markers, don't you, at the side of the screen, and not everybody's a fan of them. So without further ado, let's dive in. What you want to do is you want to go to your server and you'll want to access the CFG gameplay.json file, and that is actually in it's actually in the MP missions folder. So if you go to the root directory of your server, whether that be a local server like this or online, go into MP missions, go into the mission you want to look at, for example Chernerus, and then find the CFG gameplay.json, and then you want to open that up in your favorite text editor. I really like Notepad++, and then if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see this section here, hit direction data. And we have hit direction override enabled, hit direction behavior, hit direction style, hit direction indicator, hit direction max duration, hit direction break point relative, hit direction scatter, and hit direction post process enabled. So let's have a look at what this means. Now, Bohemian Interactive have created a rather handy guide, and I'll link to this down below so we can go through these. So the first one, hit direction override enabled, decides whether the values get used or not. Since anything undefined in hit direction data or any class in the JSON file is considered 0, allows us to determine that some valid data has been loaded. So you can kind of ignore that one, because the one we're interested in is hit direction behavior. That one dictates general behavior of the hit indicator. 0, it's disabled. 1 is static. 2 is dynamic, which they say is a work in progress. So that means that if we want to disable hit direction behavior or enable it, we need to go to this one. So 0 is disabled and 1 is enabled. So let's go to that. So there we go. So hit direction behavior. Vanilla or default action is 1, so it's enabled, static, but you could change that to 0, and that would then disable it completely. So if you've come to the video for that, that's what you got to do. Hit direction behavior, change that to 0, save your file, re-upload it to your server, restart your server, and everything will be turned off for that way. However, let's look at some of these other settings as well, just we may well want to customize our hit direction style. Dictates which type of indicator gets used. Sets of image and position calculations. So you can have 0 as the splash, 1 is the spike, and 2 is the arrow. That's cool, isn't it? And we've got it set at 0, which is the splash. Then we've got hit direction indicator color. Now this is the color, so you could change that. Now this is a ARGB format color, which which is a little bit complicated. So what I've done is in the description below the video, I've linked to this picture, and this has ARGB color codes so that you can just copy them. Oh, it's a bit of a pain. You'll have to type them because it's a photo, because it's an image. Oh well, it's the best I could do at short notice. If you do a Google search for ARGB color codes, and make sure it doesn't switch it to RGB color codes, you can find your own ones, but I'll link to that one. Then we have hit direction maximum duration. So the maximum duration of hit indicator. So this is how long the hit indicator stays on the screen. But what they do say is that the actual time that it will stay on the screen will be between 0.6 and 1 of that, so between 60% and 100% of the value. So in this case, the hit direction on max duration is 2 seconds, but it probably won't be on the screen for 2 seconds. It'll probably be on the screen for 1.5 seconds, that sort of thing. Hit direction break point relative. So the fraction of the actual duration after which the indicator begins to recede. So again, the hit indicator appears, and then it will start to fade out. So you can choose how fast it fades. So if you set a value of 1, it won't fade out at all. It'll just disappear. So you could play around with that. And hit direction scatter, the next one, amount of scatter to introduce inaccuracy to the indication. Actual scatter is randomized by the amount of degrees in both directions. So a value of 10 gives a potential scatter of 20 degrees. So that's a really powerful tool, that. and this will be a percentage as well. So they're saying if you've got 10%, it'll be 10% either way. So, for example, if the hit came from directly north or in front of you, then the hit direction would be sort of between 10 degrees to the right and 10 degrees to the left. So the bigger you make that, the more inaccurate it would be. And I think if I wanted to fine-tune the hit direction stuff, but still have them, so they do give people a little bit of help. Because, I know people go, oh, it's hardcore, but it is a bit of a pain when you don't know where you've been shot from, especially for people who maybe haven't got good headphones or haven't got the sound on at all because they can't. This definitely helps. But you could make that so it was like 30. So, it would be, you could basically say, okay, it's somewhere in front of me, somewhere to the right, but within like a really wide arc of potential directions. And then the final one is hit indication post-process enabled. And this is the old red flash when you get hit, so you can turn that on and off or do. So there we go. Save that file, re-upload it, restart your server, and then you will have customized the new hit direction settings in your DayZ server, or you've disabled them, because just remember, hit direction behavior 0 disabled, 1 enabled. Well, I hope that video has been useful. If it has been, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will of course see you again soon.